Profitable Practices. Farm solutions for people, profit, and the planet on Real Agriculture is brought to you by Farm Credit Canada and RBC Royal Bank.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to Profitable Practices. Today I'm in Newfoundland to take a look at a small but very dynamic dairy industry here in this province. I'm at Pondview Farms just outside St. John's in the Goulds, where I'm going to chat with dairy farmer Crosbie Williams. Crosbie is going to tell us about how 19 dairy farmers have banded together to buy and operate a local processing plant to make their industry more profitable and sustainable. Here's Crosbie Williams. Hey Crosbie, great to have you on Real Agriculture. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks, Bernard. It's great to be here, and I'm glad you're here as well.
Hey, tell me about Pondview Farm. Tell us a little bit about the history and what you do here on the farm.
Well, my dad's grandfather started the farm in the early 20s, and we continued on over the years. There's been various expansions over the years, and my dad passed in '99. There were 7 children in our family, and I came home from Agriculture Canada after 10 years with the government, both provincially and federally, and I came home on the farm. At the time we were milking 110 cows. We're currently milking about 180 in a modern freestyle facility.
What about land-based and what do you grow? I mean, primarily forage?
Yes, forage is key to our milk production here in the province. On our farm specifically, and we farm 325 acres, and we grow primarily grass, but we're starting to get into alfalfas, different kinds of clovers, double cut clovers, and that. But forage is our key. We also feed certainly a mineral mix, soybeans, corn, and wet brewer's grain from the local brewery.
Crosbie, give us a snapshot of the Newfoundland dairy industry. You know, there's not a lot of farms, but by Canadian standards, you know, they're very big and productive.
Yeah, well, there's currently in the province there's 19 dairy farmers, and spread over the 4 dairy regions in the province. Our dairy industry is bigger than most. I think provincial average here is over 200 dairy cows now on a farm. So yeah, our scale of farm cow numbers in this province is bigger than most.
Now this isn't the easiest place to farm. As I say, not a lot of soil. It's tough to grow grain. I know you've tried a little bit of soybeans and some corn, but as you mentioned, forage really is a key, right?
Yes, absolutely. We've grown corn silage over the years, found it to be quite expensive. We really liked corn silage in the province as a whole. There's still a couple of regions that are still growing corn silage, but grass is key to our milk production in the province. We have a lot of challenges here. In terms of soil profile, our soil profile is rather thin. It's rocky, doesn't drain too well in places, and so there's a lot of limitation in terms of what we can do for our soil. So it's an expensive part of production for us, and we're always renovating and advancing what we can do for our forage fields.
Now let's talk about the Newfoundland milk market. It's pretty unique. Last year, you and 18 dairy farmers formed the Newfoundland and Labrador Dairy Co-operative. It's now the only locally owned processing plant. Why do a bunch of dairy farmers make that move? Tell us the story.
We got together as a group of farmers here in the province, and we thought to best suit our customers, the people that were buying our product in the province, we need to own that entity, that facility. So we put our money together collectively, formed a cooperative. And the reason why, Bernard, is because there's a lot of intricacies of servicing our clients, our customers, the people that consume our product. The perimeter of our province is thousands of kilometers. And it's filled with coves and bays and inlets and harbors, and all those places have mom and pop stores, smaller regions, smaller population, but they need dairy product as well. So we had an in-depth knowledge of how to service that, and we felt that to best do our industry, we felt that it was better to own that. So that's what we did.
Now, a big part of this plan is security, food security and security for the industry. Tell us about that.
Well, I don't think it's any secret today, Bernard, that local food production today is key. It's become more so. I think that a lot of people now are realizing that as top of mind as it used to be, I think it's becoming more so. So it fits hand in glove with our province. You know, local, we are an island. It's become more obvious to people that during ferry interruptions and things of that nature, when store shelves literally run out, the only commodities left are eggs, chicken, dairy, that supply managed commodities here in this province. So people are becoming more and more aware that local really does matter.
Now, Crosbie, as I say, by Canadian standards, these are big farms. You know, why are they so big here in Newfoundland?
The farms here in the province are so big because basically, Bernard, the cost of production here in the province is extremely high, and economics dictate how business goes, and the reality is you have to milk a lot of cows in Newfoundland to make a living. That's basically it. That's why our numbers are so big. There's consolidation throughout the country, and farms are getting bigger over time, but Newfoundland's curve was sharper in that regard because, like I said, the economic need to milk more cows was more evident here in the province.
So you've got a population here of over 550,000 people, and you're producing, out of just over about 20 farms, the fluid requirements for the island.
Yeah, we produce the fluid requirements. We also have a sleeve industrial milk as well, and that represents about 30 to 40% of our total production, yeah.
How important is it to own this industry? You mentioned that. You know, to keep milk production and dairy vibrant on this island, processing, you need processing.
Well, I don't think our industry is any different, any region of this beautiful country that we live in, and that local processing is key anywhere. And I think dairy farmers from British Columbia all the way here to the east coast of Newfoundland understand that local processing is key. So we knew that, we embraced that, and so we ran with it, and we set up an entity that we knew that local production was always going to be here.
Yeah. Now, you have a very supportive provincial government. You know, they want to see this industry succeed. How important is that?
Well, I guess I could say this. You know, we are the envy of a lot of regions. I mean, our provincial government has been extremely supportive to agriculture in our province. We couldn't ask for a better Department of Agriculture. They're always there in terms of support, because I think they realize too how important local food production is in this province. So yeah, it goes hand in hand with us, and I can't say enough about our government. I think that they're doing an absolutely fabulous job.
Talk about the products, Crosbie. I mean, obviously, fluid, and what other products from a dairy perspective?
Well, if you want to talk about NLDC, Newfoundland Dairy Cooperative, we got new packaging into the marketplace now, or it's going to be here shortly. We're expanding into lactose-free milk. We're going to do some butter into the future, and so the dairy case, I think I would like to believe that the dairy case for our consumers in the province is going to become more exciting for them. I think that they're going to be pleased with the innovation, the changes that are coming.
Hey, final question, and that is, let's talk about profitability and sustainability of dairy farming on the island. As I say it's important to own the industry. What impact can the Newfoundland and Labrador Dairy Cooperative have on the future of dairy industry in this province?
Well, NLDC is going to bring sustainability to the industry, right? We're going to know that we got a home for our milk, and that's extremely important. I came from a time, my dad reminded us often that there was times that milk was produced, but it didn't have a sale. Well, we'll have a sale, and so for that, I feel that every farmer in our province realized how important that was.
Well, it's a great story, Crosbie. Thanks for making some time, and thanks for the invite for Real Agriculture.
Listen, Berta, thanks, and anytime, come back.